Anohimita hana no namae wo boku tachi wa mada shiranai, aka Anohana, the flower we saw that day, is an original anime created by A1 Pictures for the spring of 2011 anime season. The anime premiered on April 15th and ended its 11-episode run on June 24th. A 2 light novel series to promote the anime was first released in March of that year and ended in July. A manga was created on April 4th, 2012 and concluded with 3 volumes on April 3rd, 2013. The first Blu-ray volume of the anime sold more than 3,000 copies in the first week of release, and that height was the 3rd highest for a first volume Blu-ray release of any television anime after Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica and K-On! Anohana received a jury selection award in the animation division of the 15th Japan Media Arts Festival. A visual novel adaptation for the PSP was developed by Guysware and published by 5PB on August 30th, 2012. Anohana was also adapted into a special live-action television drama, which aired on September 21st, 2015.
So yeah, we are tackling a pretty critically acclaimed anime series here, especially with its score being almost 8.5 out of 10 on the My Anime List scale. However, after doing some research and looking into the reviews section for that anime, I came to see that reviews for the show were mixed. And pretty mixed. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the plot and see what that holds. However, I decided to put plot and characters together because the 2 sections or elements, I guess, do very well intertwine with each other, and they intertwine a lot as far as what the plot is about.
The story of Anohana starts with 6 friends hanging out at their hideout. Everything seems to be going great as 5-year-olds hanging out goes, and you see your classic 5-year-old drama until the other kids start to tease the main character, Junta, about liking one of their female pals, Menma. The scene ends with Junta running away, and we jump into 10 years later, the present day, with 15-year-old Junta basically being a NEET, and his father supports that.
Okay.
Also living in Junta's house is Menma, and if you're wondering why that's the case, it's because Junta is the only person who can see her.
Why? Oh, 'cause she's dead.
No, really, she's actually dead throughout the rest of the anime.
Okay.
But that's not all the story that it is about, though.
While Menma is in this world, because her spirit can't seem to move on, she realizes that all of her friends are still suffering. And it's because of this that the rest of her 5 friends refuse to talk to each other anymore. Except Tetsudo, who just came back from traveling around the world.
Okay.
And now he wants to get that gang back together because he's the only person who knows what Menma would have wanted while she was still alive.
So with that setup, this just spells out a recipe, and a pretty big recipe, for emotion, because not exactly everyone can talk about death without mentioning some negative emotions into it. And this is where the characters come to play with the actual plot that is happening.
Tetsudo is the one who wants all of his friends to be, well, friends again, because yes, even though what happened the way it shouldn't have. He's upset that Menma is gone, but he sticks to the positive to not let Menma's death be in vain, which makes him the strongest character in the entire show. Then we get to Chiriko, the studious type who always sticks around Atsumu because it's no secret that she likes him. She may seem like the one who doesn't want to cause drama, but oh ho ho, you'd be surprised. Speaking of Etsumu, he's always the studious type, but he seems to lose his temper and put people down a lot more than, well, basically any other bully you see in anime. Whenever he sees Jinta, he basically calls him a scumbag for being a NEET and tells him that he'll never accomplish anything because being popular as a child doesn't give him achievement points for the future. I hated this character from the get-go, and even after I found out why he acts the way he does, I still don't sympathize with him. Then we get Naruko, who I've learned to find decent things about. She's basically your popular girl stereotype that no one wanted to hang out with because she wanted to prove to the other popular girls that she doesn't want to associate with the loser types. However, she can't seem to get away from Jinta no matter how hard she tries, so whoops! Finally, we get to Jinta out of the 5 friends who are still alive. Jinta is the character I felt the worst for. He's the one who can see Menma because he's the one who feels the most guilty about her death, especially about what happened in the past. Before Menma died, he basically hid his feelings for her by telling the others that Menma is gross and that he would be caught dead if he was ever in love with her. I mean, I know he was 5 when he said that, but seriously, dude, that was cruel. However, he comes to realize quickly that after her death, he thinks that it might have been what he said that killed her, even though it was actually Menma falling into the dam and drowning that killed her. Since that, Jinta has always felt at fault, and if he could change those events, he would have in a heartbeat, because not only did he lose his first crush, but he also lost his mother when he was younger too. That's 2 deaths in one childhood, people! This boy needs love! Jinta's guilt and Tetsudo's urging are what inspires him to get the gang back together and send Menma's spirit to finally rest. As I said before, everyone reacts to Menma's death differently, but what they do have in common is that it's not a positive outcome for them at this point in the series.
And of course, I'd be totally amiss if I didn't mention Menma at this point. So, while people were on the Robin side of things,
I want to eat ramen with you. You're dead. Look what I can do, see? You're dead. We should go play with the others. How the hell can I move on if your dead spirit won't leave me alone?
even though Robin kind of changed her mind in the next couple of years.
I can actually understand why Menma is the way she is. First of all, she died when she was 5. If we're going to add paranormal logic to this, spirits usually act the way they were by the time they died in the afterlife. So even though Menma looks like she got older, she still has the spirit of a 5-year-old girl, so Menma's character makes all the sense. Am I going to excuse her annoyingness? Kinda? I mean, I didn't really like her too much in the first few minutes of episode 1, but I didn't hate her or anything. Like I said, she was 5 when she died. There's no reason to change her except for what she sees in the afterlife. She still has normal feelings.
Mako was always a little bit scatterbrained. Honestly, Satoshi, she might not have figured out that she isn't alive anymore.
But I do. I do know. Of course I know that I died that day. How could I not?
Oh dear God, that hurts.
But what about the series being melodramatic? I mean, you got an incident that happened 10 years prior to the present day, and over those 10 years, they're still angry and emotional about the death of their friend. And wouldn't this make the anime a little bit annoying? And to that I say, that opinion is kind of missing the forest for the trees.
If we're gonna be realistic, as I said before, everyone takes death differently. Different people take either a short time to grieve over a death, or they can take forever in grieving. Of course, all the characters are different in reactions, especially in what type of connections they had with Menma. All around, there's family grief, best friend grief, and even jealousy guilt. The grief that struck me the most was when Menma goes to visit her parents and brother. Her parents still grieve over the loss of their daughter, while her brother is in the obvious mood of get over it already. I can understand both sides of the argument. Losing a child is one of the most painful things a parent has to endure in unpredictable circumstances, and no one should suffer that much. But at the same time, I understand that her brother feels extra alone because her parents seemed to be more focused on their dead child rather than on the one that's still alive and healthy. This is entirely relatable, and it hurts to witness another family go through this type of trauma. Even Menma is hurting that her parents are still suffering, and if she could do anything to tell them that it's okay not to honor her all the time, she would do so to make her brother feel better. Then we discover the secrets of her friends.
And this is where I'm gonna dive into spoiler territory, so if you guys don't want to be spoiled, I'm gonna show you the next time slot that you see on the screen somewhere, and you can just automatically jump to that.
When it comes to the friends, it turns out that there's a love pentagon going on, and this is where the series kind of gets campy when it comes to how these teens are dealing with Menma's death, especially since the events took place when they were 5 years old. You basically have Jinta and Atsumu fighting over Menma for her affection, even though it was kinda clear that Menma liked Jinta from the beginning. Then you have the girls, Chiriko and Naruko, fighting over the fact that Chiriko liked Atsumu and was jealous that Atsumu gave Menma more attention, and Naruko had a crush on Jinta, who obviously liked Menma more. Then you have poor Tetsudo, who just wanted everyone to get along, and he feels the most bad for Menma's death because she was basically the one who tied the group together regardless of what emotions were occurring.
So, I'm not sure if it's just my opinion, but tragic events can definitely bring out the good and the bad in some people, especially when they're feeling all types of emotion, like anger, guilt, rage, jealousy, sadness, depression, about the whole kit and caboodle. And I think I can easily admit that this anime might not do it as well, especially for an anime that can make people cry. Especially that ending.
I cried just like Noble when he did that Try Not to Cry challenge 2 years ago. Oh, that is... Oh, no! Shit.
So, despite its very obvious flaws, this anime did an excellent job throwing in the emotional toll that these characters have to go through. And I mean, A1 Pictures did an excellent job considering this was an original anime. So, now that I'm done with the ranting and the moaning, let's go on to the good stuff.
First of all, I think the animation is perfect for this show. It gives you that calmness before the storm type of vibe, and for a series like this, when that storm hits, the storm hits, and the animation remains fresh and clean. It might turn some people off, but I personally see nothing wrong with it. Second of all, I love the soundtrack to the show, especially the opening and ending. Remember what I said about the calm before the storm? When I said that, not only did I mean drama, but I also meant the emotion wagon that's rolling into your heart. The opening is the definite calm, while the ending is... You know when the emotional roller coaster is coming when you hear an ending like that. Then you get the in-between music, and I am proud to say that it's just as beautiful, and it definitely fits with the rest of the show's events.
I know this is the part where you're going to ask, but Caitlin, what about the English dub? There is an English dub to this show. Well, here's the thing. When I first saw this show, the English dub didn't exactly exist.
However, after searching through English dub clips on YouTube, it sounds like a very good dub. Now, I didn't see the whole series in English, but I can't be a complete judge, but I like it just enough to say that I recommend you guys to watch it if you like English dubs.
So at the end of the day, I would give the series an honest 8 out of 10, because there are times when the characters are still in their very petty phase, but it didn't distract me from the overall product it was going to sell. So, the overall emotion that had been put into this piece, it really had done it for me. I'm Cait, Cher, and it's been real. Ciao!